Bills fans just got great news. If you're buying into these overreactions from Bills versus Ravens week 1, the miracle at Highmark, unbelievable victory. Still thinking about it, still cannot sleep over this, and it was an absolute spectacle. Josh Allen, we know, took over. I don't think we're going to overreact too much about Josh Allen during this video. We know what he did, right? There isn't really much to overreact to. We saw him get the ball, 90 seconds left, march on the field, and strip a win away from the Baltimore Ravens. We saw Josh Allen, kind of get lucky in some certain situations. What about that tip drill to Keon Coleman to get his touchdown in the back of the end zone? Like, things definitely fell the Bills' way, but at the end of the day, 17 made the plays happen when they needed to be made. Also, a couple defensive plays were made as well, which we will talk about as part of our overreactions today, but the defense as a whole was not very good. So I do have big-time concerns over this Bills roster for the remainder of this season. Yeah, you got a monster win in week 1, and you can never take this away in the battle for the overall number 1 seed in the AFC, but there are some holes in this Bills roster, and there's some big question marks and some big-time overreactions that, maybe some Bills fans might not like. We'll get into those in just a second, but first, your confidence level in the Bills moving forward after the week 1 win. Scale it for me down in the comment section. 1 meaning that was a fluke win, not confident at all. 10 meaning, give us a Super Bowl trophy already, baby. Get your thoughts down in the comment section down below what your confidence level is in the Bills moving forward. My first overreaction, Keon Coleman is a wide receiver 1 in this league. And what does that mean? Keon Coleman is not only top 30 in this league. I think Keon Coleman could be a top 25 receiver in the National Football League. Look what this guy did against one of the league's most talented defenses. After all this talk, all offseason long, Keon Coleman, it's night and day. You guys are getting a different football player in year 2. Well, you know what? We might. The people saying all those things this past summer, they might have been right because 8 catches for $112 and a touchdown. Don't care how lucky it was. That's a stat line. That's a big time stat line. That's what, 25 fantasy points in his first game as the Bills' primary boundary receiver, like your number 1 option out there. And what was my big concern heading into the season with Keon Coleman? Limited route tree, really just a vertical, downfield, 50-50 ball type of threat. Keon Coleman was making big-time plays in the intermediate game and at the sticks and some nice cuts that got him some separation that he needed here to have a big day, 8 catches, a $112, and a touchdown. He looks like he can play against some of the best secondary players in this league because he just did it against Marlon Humphrey, against Nate Wiggins. There's no ifs, ands, or buts against Jair Alexander. No matter how bad you want to think that Alexander is at this point in his career, he was a marquee free agent signing this offseason and is a multi-time All-Pro. Keon Coleman made those guys look pretty human today. And if he can continue to do that in this league, then the sky's the limit for him with the guy who he's got at quarterback. The floor is about the limit with this defense, though. My goodness, you get 40 points put up on you in week 1. I'm here to say this could be an overreaction. This is a bottom 5 defense in the National Football League. What did they do well? They got pushed off the line of scrimmage, like manhandled on the line of scrimmage, whether it be on the ground. Lamar Jackson had all day to throw. The Baltimore receivers were getting open whenever they wanted. It was an atrocious performance, and all these beat writers, all these media members, all were beginning their stories with that was unacceptable out of the Buffalo Bills. And then Josh Allen just flips the whole script on his head because he's that damn good of a football player, and it's literally an alien playing a different sport right now. But that cannot take away from how bad this Bills defense was today. Awful. 8.2 yards per carry. That is inexcusable and cannot happen anymore. We know the Bills' run defense has been their Achilles heel all for the past, ever since they drafted Josh Allen. But to be exposed like that on a national stage, I do think that the reintegration of Larry Ogunjobi and Michael Hoyt once they come back from their suspensions is going to be paramount for this Bills team because they absolutely need depth work on the edge. Joey Bosa is not an every down player. I think we can establish that at this point. He definitely made some plays. Great stuff, being in the right place, right time to jump on that football that Ed Oliver knocked out to get the Bills another touchdown drive. But Joey Bosa is not an every down player. Landon Jackson clearly not ready. And, there's probably not a lot of room for error here on the Bills' defensive line. They need those guys who were paid pretty substantial contracts to come off a suspension here. First 6 weeks of the year, though, this defense, especially the defensive line, can look very, very rough. Also, the cornerback room needs to get healthier, obviously, but at the same time, even if you get healthier, is Tre'Davious White going to be much worse or much better, much different at all than what Dorian Strong gave you in week 1? I personally would just want to go with Dorian Strong the rest of the way. Youth and a guy who could potentially be a player here as a guy who could defend the run very well. I know he got caught for a couple of different penalties tonight, and he was beaten on a couple of reps, but that's going to happen. He's a 6th-round rookie out of Virginia Tech. He was did a really good job at playing man-up press coverage today and did his thing in the run game as well. So Dorian Strong, I'm confident in the long-term development of him, but this is a really, really bad unit. The safeties did not inspire me at all either. The linebackers at the second level were not great. Terrell Bernard and Matt Milano were not really much to write home about in this game, and not many people jumped off the page for me other than Ed Oliver here. So to be honest with you guys, this looks like a really, really rough defensive unit, and we know 17 is going to have to make up a lot of ground in order to get wins for this Bills team. Next up, Joe Brady. What was that game script for the first 30 minutes, 40 minutes of this ball game? Are we the Buffalo Bills, the team that has Josh Allen, the reigning MVP, or are we the Buffalo Bills, the team that just drafted a developmental quarterback and we got to get him adjusted to the league? What's up with all the screen passes? What's up with the runs on 2nd and long? What's up with the taking the ball out of Josh Allen's hands? That is my biggest gripe with the play calling here. Oh, and what happened? Once the ball was in Josh Allen's hands down the stretch of the 4th quarter, he said, put it in my hands. I'll either make a play with my feet or I'll make a play and throw the ball and throw somebody open. He did that. But for the first, 3 quarters of this game, the Bills were asking other players to do that. That is not the mentality. Josh Allen is to get this team where it needs to go. He is the engine that makes this team go. You need to put the ball in his hands and let him take shots down deep. I mean, Jesus Christmas. Can we get a deep shot of this Bills team like we did 5 years ago? And look, not a lot of those got completed, but at least you took the shots down the field. I know I'm complaining. The Bills won, but there's a very, very good chance that you replay this game 100 times and the Bills don't win another one of them. So that is a big-time concern for me, this defense, and also this play calling heading into week 2. You got to start faster because the Jets started pretty fast in week 1. They scored a lot of points themselves. Josh Allen can only overcome so much, but I don't know. The play calling has got to be different to start this game. So you start faster, and you're going tit for tat. Like the Ravens, they jumped out to such a big lead because you weren't calling aggressive play calls like they were. The Ravens were going down the field. Lamar Jackson was running his own read, and he was getting big chunk plays. The Bills had no big chunk plays until they really needed to have them on those last couple of drives in the 4th quarter. So how about we start faster and start calling some more spark plug plays to open the game? What's your biggest takeaway from the Bills versus Ravens game? Miraculous win, so much fun. Don't give me a Josh Allen takeaway. What's your other biggest takeaway from Bills versus Ravens in week 1? Let me know down in the comment section and get hooked up with this awesome deal of Bills jerseys on sale. Chatsports.com/jersey sale. That's chatsports.com/jersey sale to get yours today. Sizes are running out. Bunch of Bills jerseys over there. Chatsports.com/jersey sale. Ed Oliver will be an all-pro. I know I just said that this is the bottom 5 defensive unit. It looks like it today. But Ed Oliver will be an all-pro player in 2025. I mean, what a game. It's not just the forced fumble that Ed Oliver had on Derrick Henry to give the Bills a touchdown drive. It is also the first series of the second half that the Ravens ended up punting on. That's blown up by Ed Oliver on 2nd down, who had a tackle for loss of 5 yards, just stuffing and standing up Derrick Henry, who was embarrassing this Bills defense. I'm saying embarrassing this Bills defense. Ed Oliver said, no. I've had enough of that. Put together a couple of TFLs, put together a QB hit, got a sack out there on Lamar Jackson as well. He moves well, and he was playing like somebody owed him money today because that was an excellent performance. A couple more stuffs at the line of scrimmage. And, That's the best defensive line or defensive tackle performance of anybody that I've seen in week 1 in the NFL. So, Ed Oliver, you're well on your way to being an all-pro player in 2025, and you might need to be because this defense is atrocious. I think Josh Allen can overcome it, though. That's my last overreaction of Overreaction Monday after week 1. The good news is for Buffalo Bills fans that Josh Allen can overcome this defense. Put up 50 next time. I hope the Jets put up 50. Because I bet you I'm taking my guy. I'm taking Josh. I'm taking 17 every single time. What's to say I should? Who's to tell me that I shouldn't just be okay with having him on the other side? I don't care who's playing defense for the Bills. Josh Allen can overcome the bad things on the defensive side of the ball for the Bills here. You got 40 points put up on you. You were down 15 with 8 minutes left in the game, and you still won. And when the Bills got the ball punted to them with a minute and a half left, I thought that they won. Like, I kind of was assuming this thing was wrapped up. In what world would Josh Allen not go get that field goal for you? So, for a defense to play as bad as it did today, for you to play as stacked of a roster as you did today, and you allow 40 points, you still come out victorious, Josh Allen can overcome virtually anything except for not getting a pressure on Patrick Mahomes. Can the Bills win the AFC this year? Let me know down in the comments section. Is this the year? Starting off 1-0. Good vibes so far. Yes or no? Y for yes, and for no. Let me know in the comments section. And hit me up over on Twitter. We can talk about it some more as the season unfolds. We'll be covering it more on social media. And, of course, we'll be covering it here on the Bills Breakdown as well. Subscribe. Turn those notifications on. YouTube.com/BillsNews. We'll see you in the next one. And, as always, let's go, Buffalo.